Welcome to Highway Tomorrow, and I am here with ZB Tappert, Davina Merrifield.
Hi.
No, it's not Davina.
It's Davina.
Davina.
Yeah.
I learned that 2 days
Okay.
ago.
Only two?
Only two. I always thought it was Davina.
So I want this to be a two-part podcast. We're going to do now and then towards the end of your visit here. So why don't we start off with a quick little, your first impressions of coming to Bali?
My first impressions, it's absolute paradise. You know, like honestly, like getting through customs, that was an interesting thing. Always have your visa ready. And then you can go through multiple times to try to actually get through the right gate that way. That
Okay.
was
If
a
it doesn't
really
work the first time.
yeah, that was a really fun little tip that I found out instead of waiting in line. And then, you know, just getting to like Seminyak and like that whole experience of like the beach town and it's like the club vibe and that was super cool. And then coming up here to like Ubud and just all of a sudden it's like night and day. Like so just like relaxing and just, you know,
Which
like
one
the
is
nature.
night and which one is day?
Oh, nightlife is definitely Seminyak, and then Ubud is just definitely like the daytime, like
Right.
morning.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
it's
Let's go a
yeah,
little bit more.
yeah. So
keep moving.
that would be easy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
What brought you to Bali, or not like us only, but what was the idea behind coming to Bali?
I mean, so I've always wanted to travel the world, and I know when my mother was alive, she used to always wish that we would be able to travel a little bit more. And one of my friends, Curtis, actually had told me, you know, if you know people around the world, why don't you go visit them? And
Good
you
advice.
know, out of all the different places, and like the fact that you're here in Bali, and I've already traveled with you before
Yeah.
to Guanajuato, Mexico, back in 2005.
Crazy
like
times.
I know, good times. Why not? You know, it was one of those things where Bali's also like known as a very peaceful place where you can find yourself. And I realized recently, especially since tomorrow I'm actually turning 44, that I'm going through this chapter in my life where, you know, I feel a little lost right now. And what better place to come and, you know, just kind of try to zen and ground myself more than here in Bali.
Perfect segue, because that's what I wanted to talk about. The chapter of your life where you had your own business, and then you ended that and started working at Graton Casino, which I'm not that interested in talking. We can touch on that, but I'm more interested in what you were doing during that period.
Well, I still have my business. I still help people. It's
Okay.
just, it's a matter of it's slowed down a little bit more.
Okay. Can you start at the beginning and
'cause I'm
kind
in-
of describe to the audience what you do?
So, back in 2019, I just was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had been morbidly obese my entire life. My mother was morbidly obese. I was her live-in caretaker for 9 years. So I was almost 300 pounds the majority of my adult life. And again, another chapter. When I
You
turned,
still look great in high heels back then.
and when I was 39, when I turned 39, that was when I was looking at pictures of myself and I didn't recognize myself and I couldn't remember the last time I authentically laughed.
Wow.
And that's when it hit me that I needed to make a change and I didn't want to be fat at 40. I wanted to be fit at 40.
Wow.
And that's when I decided to reach out to a friend who had been trying to let me know that she was a health coach and I just wasn't ready then. And I reached out to her and was like, what's one more thing? Because I've tried everything. And, you know, I ended up reaching out to her in August. We had our talk on August 31st. My birthday's August 19th. And I started my journey with her September 7th. And I ended up dropping 135 pounds by my 40th birthday.
Oh my goodness.
So-
Wow. In 1 year.
Wow.
In less than a year, basically.
Wow. Wow.
So that was when, halfway through that was when I was like, I need to start helping people, you know, learn what I'm learning through not like what everybody in the Western world says needs to happen, but in fact, actually going through habits and, you know, hydration and sleep and stresses and everything like that, but doing it with other people that are doing the same lifestyle as you, because we are who we hang with.
Do you remember
So-
your first client?
Yeah, actually, I do. And I'm still in contact with her. I'm still in contact with pretty much all my clients.
Okay.
You know, from here and there. And,
Awesome.
you know, like some are still going and some aren't. And some, you know, they just stop for a while and they come back. And, you know, but that's what life is. It's a journey.
And were you
So-
mostly dealing with people that were also dealing with weight issues or other life issues?
I think because of my particular story, the people that wanted to focus on weight gravitated towards me towards the beginning.
Okay.
And then later on, you know, through references and everything like that, it started becoming more of the mindset piece.
Okay.
And people that wanted to be a part of a healthier lifestyle.
Okay.
More mindset work. But still, because of my transformation and so drastic of one, that's always the focus. You know, a lot of times people don't realize that the weight that they're holding is all of the emotional trauma that we're hanging on to. So they want to lose the weight, but they're not ready yet to deal with the traumas. And that's what we have to focus on.
Okay.
And that was the hardest part for me, because it was so fast. I didn't even get a chance to realize it until I got there and was like, oh, in order to maintain this, I have to really deal with the shit, so to speak.
Okay.
Wow.
So you would help people, no doubt, with diet, exercise, but then it became suddenly aware that you were dealing with psychological issues and coaching them in that direction. What else would you do for people or help them?
It actually wasn't even the exercise piece.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it
okay.
had nothing to do with the
Okay.
exercise. It was just being there to help them with the I want to give up.
Oh wow. Okay.
Or my spouse isn't supporting me, or I'm afraid my children are going to find my diary and read it.
Wow.
It's more of those things. And
interesting.
yeah, so it wasn't so much like, it's not like being a personal trainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because you're, from what I've learned about you being so beautiful, you're very empathetic. So if you deal with so many different cases and yet you're empathetic, I think you want to identify yourself with every single case up to an extent,
Yeah.
in order to be able to help in that case. So what does it do to you? Because you have to, as empaths, we have to protect ourselves in a way
Yes.
that we help, but we don't, drain ourselves in that process. How does it work for you?
One of the things I learned is to listen to more and read more about personal development and listening to different podcasts. And
okay.
because each person, you hear things differently from each teacher. So whether it be a mentor or a different podcaster, like I love that you do this as well, because this is teaching people about the world and different like lifestyles, much like, going to like, you could have Ed Milet or Rob Dial or Jay Shetty or Mel Robbins and all these different like amazing personal development. They interview different people and you can take different things out of each episode. There are times where, I have a client or a friend who's going through some things and I'll listen to an episode and immediately send it to them because I'm like, I think this will help you. Because there are things that I'm hearing from you that I don't understand how to guide you, but then I hear like the way they say it or the way they present it, it's so perfect. So then that way it's not me having to do it, it's somebody else's words that I can see translate into theirs.
Okay.
So that it helps. So that's another thing that I love doing, is trying to be able to like just figure out how to like unkink the hoses, I like to say, because there was a time when I was with somebody and I said, when I was, we were kind of going through this space where we had to like break up, and I said, you have a lot of knots in your head and I don't know how to help you untie those knots to turn them into beautiful bows. Only you can do that. The only thing I can do is just be here to like help in whatever way, but only you have the control to untie the knot.
Okay.
So
So this business ran, you did it for a couple of years. You're still essentially doing it today.
Yes.
But you've taken on a job, a different job, a day job essentially.
Yes.
Collecting a paycheck. Was that decision based on a critical juncture in your own business, that you were not getting the satisfaction you needed in your business, not making enough money, frustrated with your client? I mean, what made you kind of back away?
I think what it is when you're in the health and wellness, you're very reliant on people's emotions and mindsets. And if you can't give to yourself, and it got to that point where it was so draining that I wasn't giving to myself, that I wasn't able to really properly help others. And then, I mean, let's face it, I live in California. It is so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, like the cost of living there is astronomical. Gas prices is astronomical. Just to like live, it's basically paycheck to paycheck.
Sure.
And, you know, benefits and whatnot. And so a lot of times what we'll do is, instead of continuing, and what I did, I should say, is instead of just continuing to build and just go through it hard, because I am on my own. You know, I don't have a spouse. I don't have family that's close to me. I don't have a mother. I don't have a father. I don't have any siblings. You know, I don't even have any pets. You know, like, you know what I mean?
We should
I'm
get
like,
you a fish,
no,
at least.
gosh, no, please, one less thing to like worry about. But, you know, it just got to that point where I was like, you know, like I felt like I wanted the support and I needed the support, because that's how I was raised. I was raised by a single mother who always needed me around, always had to touch me, always had to, you know, be there. And so for me, not having that for so long, it turned into this space where I needed to have that interaction again to be in the workplace. And one of my other talents that I'm pretty well known for is my talent behind the bar and mixing drinks.
And so you're good with people.
And
you're
creating experiences for people and palettes and things like that. So I went to a place that was pretty much guaranteed 100% medical, dental, vision, all the benefits. You know, and at first I was behind the scenes because I didn't want to deal with the public.
Right.
And then I got talked into it anyway.
Okay. Okay, so you're here to kind of reset your life.
Yes.
What do you have any goals, questions you're asking yourself, so that we can see how far you come in 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, on my life list, I do want to see 500 waterfalls.
Okay.
You know, on my life list. I don't call it a bucket list. I call it a life list.
Okay.
So if I can see a couple waterfalls here and there, that'll be amazing.
Okay. That's easy. We can do that.
But just honestly, like, untangle my own knots.
Okay.
That's the thing, is I need to untangle some knots, and I just feel like there needs to be some sort of release in the brain, because right now I'm up against a wall.
Okay.
And I can't normally, like, had you talked to me like 3 years ago, I'd be able to have an answer for things for myself. And I haven't been able to have those answers for quite some time now.
Wow. Awesome.
So I feel like this is the place where I can find that.
Intuitively, do you have a prediction or a future goal, or where you think you might be going?
One thing I've learned is to never be reliant on an outcome that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So
that's beautiful.
I like to live in the now, and I love how the winds pick up right now, because that's exactly what I say, is let the winds take me to where it needs to go. Because it's just going to happen. That's why I don't like planning too much, because I just would like to go. That's kind of why I don't travel with people, is because I don't want their fears to hold me back, because I also want to just be able to do what it just, you know, all of a sudden I'll wake up and suddenly like this opportunity appears and let's do it. You know, like let's just do it, like today, like let's just go to the pool.
Yeah.
How about we go to the pool? Okay.
Okay.
And that was fantastic.
Awesome. Well, let's check back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And we have a title for the podcast. Where the winds take me.
Yeah. And we'll see what Bali has done. And honey, it's great to...
I'm so happy. I know it's so hot. I love you. Oh, yes. Oh.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
I'm really good. So I want to break this into a couple of parts. I want to talk first briefly about how you felt about Bali, what you liked, what you didn't like for maybe future travelers, people who come here, the superficial stuff, music, food, and then we'll talk about like personal growth.
Okay.
So give me like
Fair.
2 or 3 of your top favorite things that you enjoyed about Bali and 2 or 3 things that you might tell people to look out for.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of fun. Some of the top things. I absolutely love the offerings in the morning. Like, I think that is so cool that, wherever you go in businesses, you'll see like these little offerings of just like flowers and incense burning and like maybe like some treats so that like the random dogs are like eating them on the street, definitely that. Just how like just welcoming and sweet everybody is. It's just such a culture where people were telling me, oh, be careful because people are going to steal this from you, or, wear your bag a certain way. And I didn't find any of that. I felt completely safe wandering around. I was walking around by myself and felt completely safe the whole entire time. And then, I mean, of course, like the massages being like completely affordable and having like multiple like throughout this time here is just, that has been absolutely amazing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the dangers are particularly in the south in the Canggu, Seminyak area, where the nightclubs are, and your danger is probably from Western tourists is more than Balinese. But you do have a lot of Balinese who've kind of converted to the hedonistic lifestyle down there, and things can happen.
Oh yeah.
But I agree with you. I think the absolute at the core heart and compassion that these people show on just a daily basis is one of the most remarkable things I've ever experienced in the world, and certainly what keeps me here. So anything else?
Oh God. I mean, there's so much to love about Bali. Like, honestly, it was really surprising to see how in the southern space, like the waves were a little more treacherous, yet in the northern space, it was like you're out there swimming in this clear water. It's just, there's so many things to love about it. Yeah.
Okay. What about anything that you might warn people about, or that you
Mosquitoes.
Okay.
Bugs.
Yeah, I don't know why you were.
I am like just a complete buffet.
Yeah, I mean, I literally didn't get a mosquito bite the whole time you were here, and you were, well, thank you for
All
drawing
over.
them all over to you, keeping them off of me. Anything else?
It's that Western blood.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know. Like it was kind of cool how like the sun was out and then not, and like the humidity wasn't so bad. I don't know. I guess sometimes the smell of burning garbage.
Oh yeah.
The smell of burning garbage. I was not quite prepared for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I was wondering what kind of horrible incense that was, and then I realized after. And it's just I don't know, like the traffic.
Yeah.
The traffic, like you have to go by motorcycle around here, otherwise you're just going to be on the roads forever. And people were a little crazy on the roads, so that would probably be it, because I'm used to Bay Area traffic and California traffic, and this was definitely a different vibe.
I know that especially down here in the southern part, they burn the garbage and they burn everything. Whereas when we were going up to Ahmed, for example, there'd be burn piles by the side of the road, and it was all organic material. So it was a complete, and I remember this from last time I was here, and it really was like incense in the air. And it's a real shame that, the infrastructure is not there to handle the trash in this country. It's something a lot of the younger Balinese kids are really concerned about.
Yeah.
Because I work with a group down in Batuan, helping to teach English occasionally. And we talk about this all the time. And they're like, yeah, my parents don't know that we need to recycle. So, it's an issue that a developing country is going to have to address.
Yeah.
Any warnings for solo women travelers?
Well, just be ready for anything. Honestly, just because since I was here, I experienced an earthquake, a rainstorm. I was be prepared for anything and
Right.
everything.
And being a California girl, of course, it's like, an earthquake.
Right, exactly. And just be comfortable. Like, wear your flip flops, wear your tennis shoes. I brought like my platforms and wore it one time, and it was for my birthday.
Worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely
It was super cool. Yeah, creating our own like live band karaoke that night. That was awesome. But for women, just make sure that you use ATMs like where the supermarket is. And
That's good advice.
like just making sure it's like in those like, and it's a great space to be like, because they're completely air conditioned, so you just go in there for like a quick little breather. And I don't know, because I was pretty much, I just kept to myself for the most part, unless I was with you and ZB. So it was, I felt kind of spoiled, in a way. So
we did spoil you.
it's true. This is true.
Yeah.
And what else? I'm trying to think.
Okay. Well, let's talk about as far as personal growth, your expectations when you came here. If you could kind of, what space were you in? Where have you gone? What do you feel like? And particularly, how has Bali affected your soul?
Oh.
The easy question.
Oh, so easy and so lighthearted, right? That's surface area. So profoundly, honestly. I'm going back a completely different person. I just know that when I came here, oh, cool kite. When I came here, I was just lost. I felt unmotivated. I felt very concerned about where my life is in California. I just knew I needed a break because I felt overworked and just lost in how to move forward. And then now I had an amazing experience with Danny that you and ZB gifted me with a Reiki session with her. And that led to a lot of breakthroughs for me because she was able to navigate and see things within me that I was struggling to try to piece together. And it made so much sense, especially with, moving forward, the things that could potentially find me joy, because I just was blocked and blinded. So I had no idea how to do that. And so with that, and then just experiencing, just being still and quiet, and especially like in bodies of water, like just floating in the ocean and just really just not thinking and just being, really was amazing, because that kind of gave me more growth. Spreading my mother's ashes. That was
wonderful.
That was an incredible morning, just because we were able to swim in the ocean that morning for sunrise, spread her ashes, and then immediately after that happened, I started finding pieces of glass rock.
That's right.
On the beach, which ZB, who's been here for 9 years, says he's never seen before. And then like one was in the shape of a heart and one was in the shape of Bali, which was insane. And then
green.
And green. One was green, her favorite color, green and purple, like those. And that was fucking phenomenal. And that whole entire day, honestly, because then we went to the waterfalls and You know, and then we went to the lakes, or the lake right there, and was able to do that whole trip. And I had that whole moment where I had a deja vu moment.
Uh-huh.
And it was just, that day was just, it just goes to show you, if you open yourself up to just being spiritual and not overthinking things and just letting the day progress without having any true plans, like I have to do all this,
Right.
just allowing time to just be, like how much you can open yourself up to new breakthroughs within yourself. And that's what I found myself doing. And it made me get to a point where now I'm starting to get antsy, like wanting to go home and, like, you know, just
Take on the world.
tackle some stuff.
Great.
But at the same time, I don't want to wish that time away, because I still want to experience the rest of my days here in Bali, you know, because
I love that you talk about the experience with nature. I think one of the things I've come to realize is that, you know, I mean, I have a house in California, as you well know, that's concrete and completely, you don't have to experience nature directly like you do here. And here, it's like your bare feet touch the ground.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is it's like nature is, it's not just you're in contact with nature, it's not just beautiful, but it's potentially threatening. You know, it's like we had an earthquake, we have rainstorms. I mean, my house, it could come pouring down. I mean, it does, it floods in here. So it's like the danger of nature is ever present, which I think is kind of cool. I think it's good for our soul to recognize our mortality on some level with that contact. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I really have enjoyed having you here. I've enjoyed watching you go through this transformation. You know, there were some, it was just fantastic. You know, it's like we've known each other for a long time. And I think you are definitely in a better space now than when you got here. And it's been a real joy for me to have just provided a room and a bed and some sheets and towels and a place for you to kind of relax and meditate on the whole thing.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful.
So let's say, okay, so when you go back to America and you say you're ready to kind of conquer the world or fight now, what do you think you're going to do?
So some of the things I want to research, some places where I can volunteer a little bit more and see where I can help others. Definitely want to tackle my home situation and get that going. Really focus on my physical fitness as well. You know, just eating here so clean. I love how here there's none of the added crap and the toxic in the food here.
Crazy, huh?
It's so whole food,
Yeah.
like geared, and like just eating the nice fruit, and you know, like having just like when you read ingredients on something, it's like it's basically just like 5 things, and you know, which is great. And it's just wanting to really focus on that, and you know, and helping others really find that too. You know, so I know I had to find myself here so I can really focus more on developing myself to become better. And that also goes towards facing my fears with like the lack of knowledge I have in certain areas. And so going back is just, it's definitely going to be tackling those areas, but at like home base versus far away.
Cool. Well, when are you coming back to Bali?
Oh, never become reliant on an outcome. Hopefully sooner than later.
Okay.
But because I definitely want to explore more of the northern area, because that was absolutely incredible. Like where we were, that it just sang to me, Ahmed, and was it the Tagalog-Lunga? What was like, that small little, Talumban. Yeah, Talumban. Talumban.
I love North Bali.
They were amazing.
It's got a different feel to it. It's not as overrun with tourists. It's it doesn't have all the restaurant amenities that we have here, But I love it up there.
Yeah.
And I am definitely, when we get back from Germany and Poland, I'm gonna, maybe this Christmas when it's pouring down rain here, it gets less rain up there. I might go get a house up there for a month and start looking around for real estate, because it's a third to a quarter of what you pay down here.
Oh yeah.
And really some spectacular places. So maybe the next time I see you in Bali, we'll have a house on the North Coast.
Well, there's plenty of signs that say land for sale,
Yeah.
and up there. So,
Yeah.
and they're all in like really amazing spaces.
Yeah.
Too. Like
Yeah.
it's just up there. Yeah. I fell in love.
Oh,
I fell in love.
okay. Well, you've got tonight and 2 more nights, so you've got 3 more nights. What are you going to be doing?
Oh, I'm so focused on that tattoo.
Okay.
I'm so excited about my tattoo.
Okay.
We're gonna eat some meat.
Eat some meat. Okay.
We're gonna eat some meat. I want a steak. I want a good steak
Okay.
here. Like that's something I haven't had yet.
Okay.
And I guess like wander around Seminyak and like because
Uh-huh.
that's where I'm gonna be staying, and like because here is like very vegan, vegetarian, health oriented. I loved going to the gym here and doing
Uh-huh.
all that. And then there, I want to kind of see like the beach scene. And,
Uh-huh.
but like now, instead of like, as soon as I land, get off the plane and experience it when it's like all like, now I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm all relaxed. And now I can like
Right.
tackle it and be like kind of a little more in that culture and check it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think because we're, 6 degrees below the equator, the light is more intense, the colors are more intense.
Oh, yeah.
This culture is incredibly intense, and it does take a little bit to acclimate to that. And I remember the first time I was here, and I went back to the States, and we had a stopover in Kauai, of all places. And I remember getting off the plane and thinking, oh my God, the colors are so muted in Hawaii. I mean, you wouldn't think of Hawaii that way. And I was
Yeah.
like, it's all pastels. It's kind of dull. It's like, because the colors are so bright
It's
here.
vibrant.
And yeah, it's an intense place.
Well, and how fast the rotation of the sun happens here.
Yes.
That's one thing
Yeah.
I noticed too. And I kept saying, I was like, wow, it's faster here.
Yeah.
Like the sun rises really fast
Yeah.
and the sun sets like on like basically to the clock
Doesn't
every
take
single
long.
time, and it's bam, like it's down.
Yeah.
So that was also very interesting to experience for the first time.
Well, honey, it's been great having you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Mwah.
And come back anytime.
Oh, thank you. I will. Who knows? Maybe
And
I'll have my place.
Thank you all for tuning
Yeah,
in.
thank you. Awesome. Follow and share.
Highway to Mars.